News Radio 840 WHAS. Good Sunday morning. Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show, with you until the top of the hour. Joining us for today's show, we've got Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices. And you can reach Chuck, does a great job on closings at 499-6360. Also, you can hear him in the background there making his way, we don't know where, is Randy Rocky, Swan Financial at 645-0736. My son Greg has the morning off. He's already at work doing some other stuff. And you can reach me because we're constantly looking for homes to list and sell, because we sell the ones we've got, at 376-5483. Or now if you can go to 376-5483.com on your iPhone or computer or Droid, and that'll take you to one of our pages on our We Sell Louisville site. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but hey. There you go. All right. Economist Randy, you may want to jump in on this. Job growth may fuel higher mortgage rates. Be leery of this. Any buyers who are thinking down the road that they're going to purchase a home in the next couple of months or next year, mortgage rates remain below 3% for the 8th consecutive week. But economists believe job growth will determine how much longer they're likely to stay low. The 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 2.87% this past couple of weeks, but a job growth could see interest rates climb next year, even though the Fed said they're not going to raise short-term interest rates until 2023.
But you know what, Bob? We've been saying this for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, the rates are going to go up, and they haven't. So, but I feel like it's going to finally happen.
All right. Yeah, I think we may see it. That's why buyers, if you're on the fence, might be time to talk to a realtor. We've got 10 realtors waiting to help you from my team. And if you want to list, we can help you as well. Let's go to the email. So mind you, we're doing these shows COVID style because it looks like we're going to be for some time to come, which means we're recording them on Zoom. So if it's choppy, you understand why. It's not us, it's Zoom. And then we're uploading them to YouTube, and you can see a rebroadcast of the show, a rebroadcast by going to LouisvilleAnswers.com. So if you send me an email, bob@wesellouisville.com, put radio question in the subject line, put the question itself in the body, we will get them on the air, like this one from Sarah. Chuck, Sarah's mother just passed away, leaving the house worth approximately $100,000 in Sarah and her sister Susie's name. Mind you, I've changed the names to protect both these folks. And this is an actual problem that I think, Chuck, you even had part of in advising on this. Susie wants to buy the house from Sarah. There's a $50,000 mortgage that remains, and both Sarah and Susie are trying to figure out how to buy the house. How much should Sarah get from Susie if Susie buys the house, or if she applies for a loan?
Sister wants to buy out the other sister. It's whatever they agree. Less the mortgage. So if it's $100,000 house, there's a $50,000 mortgage that she would be paying off. Well, that sounds like her share of the money. Split down the even. It's not an uncommon scenario where one kid wants to buy out the other. They just have to figure out what they believe the property is worth. I know that with the courts, if you can't agree as to what it's worth, well, do an appraisal, do 2 appraisals, take the average of both.
Yeah. And that was my suggestion, is to have an appraisal done. Now, what I would suggest is go to somebody who's independent, but you both agree upon, both Susie and Sarah.
And if you can't really agree, get 2 of them and do an average.
Cost of an appraisal these days about $400, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, $450.
Yep. And then Randy, as long as they've got an appraisal, but you as a mortgage company over at Swan, you would have your own appraisal that would basically verify the price that they've both agreed to.
That is correct. It's a third-party appraisal system. They did that after the 2008, what happened with the country on financing in 2008. So yes, it is a third-party appraisal company. So there would be a second appraisal in that situation, unless they just went with the appraisal that we did if they actually were financing property.
Yeah, that went into effect actually 2012 after that debacle. But I completely get it. You're absolutely right. So that hopefully Sarah and Susie, that helps you. Listen, the number one thing I would think that we would want to put forward, I think this would be to everybody's benefit, is that both you, Sarah, and Susie remain friends, so that you're not at odds. I know when my mom and dad passed away a number of years ago, they left us with the house for myself, my brother, and my sister, and we know, because my dad wrote a letter, that among everything, he said, please always remain friends. And I think I carry that forward to everyone. Is just, money can get in the way of a lot of things, and it's not the end all be all. And probably the best thing is blood is much thicker than water or money. So just remember that.
Judge Potter here in Jefferson County used to say a similar thing. Whenever you'd have kids fighting on an issue, he'd always say, look, you got to see each other at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yeah. So keep it nice. But in this case, usually, brothers, sisters, they just figure out what's the property worth, take off the debt, split the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Figuring out what the property is worth is job number one. Yeah. If you want to see what the sellers are saying about us, go to LouisvilleSellersTalk.com or go to LouisvilleZillow.com. Back to these emails. This one's for Randy. And Anthony is writing in. He's asking about mortgage companies in general. He's about to buy a new home. He's sold his old home, and the buyer of his new home is now waiting for his bank to approve his loan. This is the second delay by the buyer's bank. Is this normal, and is there anything that Anthony can do, Randy, in your mind?
That's not normal. Usually, in most scenarios, you can get approval within a couple hours. So that's surprising. That means either the person doing the loan is just not up to speed on this person because they're too busy, or they don't understand the type of loan they're doing, or they don't understand the business, which there's a lot of new people getting in the business right now. There really are. And Bob, you've had several situations where that's been a challenge, with the loan officer. So no, that's not normal law. So what I would do is suggest that the buyer of the property go to another company and get an approval, because sincerely, it should, if they have all the proper documentation, it should be no more than 2 hours.
Chuck, on a little side note on that, if you're going to make a change of mortgage companies as a buyer, the suggestion is always you need to have some sort of addendum that lets the buyer and the seller agree that that's going to happen. Am I on track with that?
Yeah, that would be a good idea, since that can affect the seller. And of course, your contract indicates that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. But everything is, especially in this day and age where, a person will accept a contract based upon a person's already being qualified. And if all of a sudden you're going to a different place, that would suggest maybe a lack of qualification.
And it could be that it may be the loan officer who didn't do their due diligence getting the information up front, or it could be the buyer that is dragging their feet. I think we've all seen that, where they've dragged their feet getting information to the lender, which causes a slowdown or delay. All right, back to more questions. This is coming in for you, Chuck. Mark and his wife, Shelley, sent us an email about a problem they're having with their neighbor. In short, and this is of interest, they can't stand their next door neighbor. And they're worried that when they put their home on the market, the neighbor's going to try to sabotage the sale somehow. Do they have any legal options in your mind?
Well, first off, you don't have any legal options till something happens. Being afraid that somebody's going to do something doesn't really give you a cause of action at all. Now, if they come over and they lie about stuff, or they say, horrible things have happened that are untrue, well, clearly there's options about that. But it has to be after the fact. There's no preemptive, hey, we're going to do something to you if you do this thing that we're afraid you might do. Judge won't even consider that.
Yeah, we quote Chuck on a regular basis, folks, because he's got some words of wisdom, notwithstanding radiator nachos. No, yeah, but he does recommend. Yeah,
100%. He does a very good job with that scenario.
Yeah, no. So he suggests you take over a cake and try to mend.
Yeah, apple pie diplomacy. Just go on over there and be nice. Take him a pie. Sit down, hash out your problems. But does that always work? Probably not. But I think, didn't we have an issue here a year or so ago where the neighbors were putting up signs or something completely on their property?
Yeah.
Completely legal, just nothing you can do about it.
That is a problem, unless you're living in an area where there's a homeowner association that would prevent putting up signs.
But clearly, if somebody comes over, sees that you're looking at the property and then says, "Yeah, Bob, he's got nuclear waste buried in that backyard."
Yeah.
Well, then there's actually an actionable cause for slander of title, where you say, "Hey, they don't own it," or there's different ways to go about that. Intentional interference with a business transaction, things you can do, but you can't do it ahead of time.
Okay, it has to have happened. Yep, I'm with you. All right, we'll get one more question before the break. This is for Randy. Evelyn apparently was listening to us at the beginning of the show because we were talking about interest rates, and Evelyn sent us an email just now asking, what is the latest on interest rate, Randy?
Plus number 2473. You're looking at an APR rate somewhere around 2.75% right now. All
right, let's take a break. And when we come back, 7 unusual tricks for your cleanest floors ever. This has got my interest. I'm on a cleaning spree these days. With us, Randy Rocky, Swan Financial, 645-0736. Also, Chuck Crosby of the Crosby Law Offices at 499-6360. I'm Bob Sokoler. You can reach me anytime. If you want to get your home on the market, we'd love to help you. You can reach me at 376-5483. And my son, Greg, I think, has got the morning off, as a matter of fact. We're back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show with us. We've got Randy Rocky from Swan Financial at 645-0736. Also with us, Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices. And you can reach Chuck and his group at 499-6360. By the way, they say Chuck, and I know this for a fact, not only does he do closings, but he does wills. What are some of the other things that you do so well, Chuck, that other than evictions?
We'll do pretty much anything that deals with dirt. Anything with real estate. And like I always say, if I don't do it, I know who does.
Who does? All right. Let's get back to some of the emails that have come in a moment. First, 7 unusual tricks for your cleanest floors ever. And let's face it, we're going to be spending a lot more time indoors over the next half a year or so, with the weather starting to get a bit chilly. And there's no way around it. Whether you have hardwood or tile or carpet, all the floors got to be cleaned. Dirt, debris put outside. So one thing when it comes to now, Chuck, do you have wood floors in your condo?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got a lot of wood floors.
Yeah, we have hardwood floors and rugs. I mean, it's a mix.
And Randy, if I'm not mistaken, you've got tile and wood.
Tile, wood, and some carpet.
Carpet. Okay. Well, this won't work for carpet, but one suggestion is to use diapers. Cloth diapers are both soft and absorbent. And if you think about it, the primary responsibility depends on it for what they do. These qualities also make them excellent for buffing after a deep clean of your hardwood. So when they're not wrapped around your baby's bottom, save a few of those clean ones and a cloth diaper, and then use them around the house on a end of a mop of some sort to move them around and polish your floors. Something I never knew, especially if we have hardwood floors, like wrinkles in clothes, dents in your hardwood floor can actually be ironed out with a little steam. Now, I see Chuck's face, and I agree with him. I'm a little skeptical about this one as well, but just apply a wet cloth or damp paper towel over the dent, then move the iron on high heat in a circular motion over the area for several minutes. Do not use this fix on floors that are waxed, or you'll get a white halo around the area. And always test an inconspicuous area first. And by the way, we take no responsibility if this doesn't work properly, but that's one of the suggestions out there. I don't know if I do that. You can try this one at home, hiding scratches with tea. Have you ever heard of that? I haven't.
Yeah, I have not either.
No. On your hardwood floors, we can cover it up with a strong brew of tea. Set a black tea bag in a cup and let it steep. Then apply the brew to your scratches using a cotton swab with an extra few swipes. Your floors are dark, and then let the stain dry. So I guess based on what this is saying, you're using the tea once it brews in a cup, and the darker to match your floors. You can use it much like a stain and get rid of the scratches. I'm just telling you, don't kill the messenger.
Yeah.
Also, erase scuffs with a tennis ball. I've heard that. They do this in commercial buildings. You get black scuffs on the floor. You can get rid of it with a tennis ball. Squeegee pet hair from carpets. I've tried it. That works. This one I saw because I have grout that has got some discoloration. Using shoe polish, a white liquid shoe polish, put it on the grout, let it dry overnight, and then scrape off the tiles the next day. And you'd be shocked at how much better those grout lines look. Anyway, that may be of some interest for you. I always kind of looking for some usual obscure things. All right, so let's go back to our questions via email. By the way, if you want to send us an email, bob@WeSellLouisville.com, as we do our COVID shows. Also, if you want to see what Sellers is saying about us, go to LouisvilleSellersTalk.com. If you want to be on our real estate news email that we send out on a regular basis, go to LouisvilleRealEstateNews.com. It's part of our Facebook page. All right, this is for Chuck. And Samuel is having problems sleeping at night because his wife, Samantha, is apparently writing that her husband worries about everything. And they both listen to our show and have heard about the problems when buyers want to sue a seller over small things. So Samantha is asking, can Samuel be sued even if he's answered every single question on the disclosure to the best of his knowledge? And how can her husband get a better night's sleep after he sells his home? What can you do to help assure Samuel and Samantha?
Some sort of sleeping pill. As I've always said, you can sue anybody for anything. Whether or not you win is the real issue. Is he likely to get sued? There's not a whole lot of that going on, relatively speaking. If he does everything to the best of his knowledge without trying to deceive, he'll probably be just fine. Is that a guarantee nobody will ever sue you? Absolutely not. Like I said, you can always be sued by anyone for anything. Doesn't mean you're going to lose, but there's that. Since it's something you can't control, why worry about it? I mean, do the best you can and then let it go. Have some of that apple pie that you're saving for when your neighbor gets into a tiff with you.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know if that helped Samantha and Samuel, but it was good advice nonetheless. There's not much you can say other than you do the best you can, right? That's all you can. That's all you can
do. The right thing right now, and then let the rest worry about itself.
You got it. All right, Randy. Frankie is writing in. She says her husband and her are buying a home they're in the inspection. It's saying it needs a new roof. The seller says, and this Chuck is going to be a little bit for you here to chime in. Seller says he's giving them $5,000 at closing to help with the cost of the roof. The agent says that's not necessarily legal, but Frankie is saying, I don't understand why it's wrong. So Frankie and her hubby buying a home, needs a new roof, and the seller is saying instead of putting a new roof on, he'll give them $5,000 at closing to help with the roof.
Well, you can't do that. No, you can't just give them $5,000 at closing. What you can do is reduce the price of the property. Here's a couple problems with that. The first problem is if it's an opinion if they need a new roof or not. If the appraiser comes out and says they need a new roof, then when it becomes a lending issue. If they don't do that, then it's not a lending issue. So that it just opens up a whole can of worms when you say you need a new roof on something, and Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA do not like that. They just don't want to be a part of that. So what I would suggest they do in that situation is just take it off of the purchase price of the property, or I don't know really much of another option unless there's.
Let me propose something. Then I'm going to go to Chuck, Randy. What if you were to contract with a roofer? And I know we get into a gray area here. You contract with a roofer, you pay the roofer, a reputable roofer, to replace the roof, and we furnish a paid receipt that goes on the closing disclosure.
Yes, that's a great point.
Okay.
Yes, that would work. That would work fine. The problem is, again, is what I said earlier, and I don't need to repeat that.
Yeah,
but
I got you.
Yes, that would be a way you could absolutely do that, where they just pay the roofer, and then before the closing, or really after the closing, they could put the roof on.
Yeah. Chuck, to speak to the legal issue of why handing money from the seller to the buyer at a closing is not proper, what's the legal ramification?
Well, first reason is it's a felony, so you probably don't want to be involved.
No.
And the reason it's a felony, but people hear you say felony, but why is it a felony?
Okay, because the contract is the contract. The loan is based on the contract, because of what Randy said, where the lender is not going to loan you money knowing that the roof sucks. So they're not going to just let you go through with that. So if it's in the contract that the roof needs repaired, or the appraisal comes back that says the roof needs repaired, great, you'll repair it, you'll pay it at closing, there'll be a bill for a service performed, pay that all day long. The thing is, what people are trying to do is they're trying to get around what the bank is doing. They're trying to say, okay, well, bank won't let me do this. Okay, they won't let the seller give me $5,000 to put on a new roof afterwards. So we're just going to do it anyhow. Well, You've signed about a dozen documents that said all the numbers are the numbers. That's it. Okay, the settlement statement. Right. These are the numbers. That's all there is. You've signed a bunch of documents saying this is the contract. That's all there is. So now if one party decides to give the other party money back afterwards, that's technically loan fraud.
Yes, you're 100% correct. Now, and I should know this, but I've just not had this happen very often. Is it okay for them? It is okay for them to pay for the roof.
If there's
seller.
A bill to be paid, if there is a bill to be paid, work was done, here's a bill generated for that work.
Then they do it at
every mortgage company. Yeah, pretty much every mortgage company I know will allow that. What we're running into always is, oh, hey, the guy's going to come out there in a week or two after closing, so we just want to give him X amount of money. Okay, well, that's one story. It also might be that you raised the purchase price to generate a little extra funds, and some of that's floating back to the buyer. That's what
loan fraud.
The mortgage police are looking at. So they've set up the documents that say, hey, this is the transaction. This is what you have. This is your liability. This is what's going to be owed. The loan is based on the quality of the house. So if you know that there's a hole in the roof that needs fixed, that means that the property probably isn't going to secure that loan.
Right.
I mean, there's like a dozen different things that you sign off on that say you're not going to do this.
So just real quickly as we wrap up here, Is it punishable by just fines? Is it worse than a fine?
30 years. It's 30 years in club fed or $1 million in fines.
Are you kidding me? Whoa.
I am not kidding.
30 years in jail for handing over $5,000?
It's up to 30 years in jail or $1 million in fines. Now, is that what it goes up to? Probably not, because in my opinion, mortgage fraud is the redheaded stepchild of lesser included. That is to say, when you get pulled over by a cop for speeding, you'll probably get a couple other charges in there. They call those lesser included. Your tail light was out, something like that. So if you've been committing some kind of theft or whatever, chances are there's mortgage fraud involved. Let's take a particular prior president's attorney's scenario where he did a refinance on his personal residence to maybe pay an entertainer $130,000. Well, on the forms that he filled out, he said, no, this is for home improvement. Okay, that's mortgage fraud. Okay,
got it.
As one would expect, it was there were a couple counts of mortgage fraud as lesser included in all of this gentleman's tales of woe with Club Fed.
Got it. Interesting. So, folks, you heard it, and you don't want to be going there. That's obvious. All right, we are out of time. My thanks to Chuck Crosby of the Crosby Law Offices. Does a great job. You can reach Chuck at 499-6360. Also, Randy Rocky, Swan Financial. You can reach Randy and get a great job on loans at 645-0736. And we're continually looking for homes to list and sell. We sell a lot of them. You can reach me, 376-5483, Bob Sokoler. You can also see some of the reviews. We've got LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleSellersTalk.com. Guys, thanks for being here. We are out of time. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS.